No, I found out the other day when I interviewed Lucan that you are his booking agent slash manager as well.
That's it, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Awesome, dude. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I had so much fun talking to him. He's such a just a genuine person.
1000%. Just super chilled.
And who else do you? I know it's so then it's Lucan and then it's Ash. Who else do you manage?
Oh man, I work with Lana Joy and her band Lost Youth with Brandon Lee Hunt as well, Marcel Underwood, and then yeah, man, like a couple other artists as well, Grace Stella Hunt, and yeah, man, there's like a few artists, yeah, like like if they are amped to play somewhere, then yeah, I'll try and organize them.
Okay, so there's a good couple of artists that you're working with.
Yeah, man.
To start with, before we go into further into this, introduce yourself and what it is that you do for anyone who might be listening.
For sure, man. Well, my name is Llewelyn Screen, or Lou for short. I'm a music blogger and music booking agent as well.
Actually, didn't know that you were a music blogger. How long have you been doing that?
Oh man, yeah. I got that job when I was in the UK. I want to say, yeah, 2020, right? That's when all this COVID stuff started, right?
Was it? It's been so long.
It's been
Like,
wild. Where's the time?
yeah,
Uh, yeah, man. So I feel like I started it in May 2020. So yeah, I've been a blogger since then.
I'm looking at the website now because I did not know this, and it was like right in front of me as well.
That's all good.
Are you a musician yourself? Do you play anything, or are you just like passionate about music in general?
I played the flute in standard two. Does that count?
Yes, yes, it
I
does.
don't
For
really.
for all intents and purposes, yes, it does.
You do not want to hear me play it, but no. I sang in the choir, but that's it. I recently tried to learn the guitar. It didn't go well. I'm just passionate, yeah, about like the local music scene, man. Yeah, I love going out, to watch these like incredible artists play.
As someone who doesn't necessarily define themselves as a musician, how did you get so deeply involved? What was like, how did that end up happening?
Yeah, so wild, man. I mean, it all started back home in Amazon, Toti, TOTI, my good friend Joran. Yeah, I mean, I like followed him and his band Maneuver to Land back in the day, and yeah, just like I went out, to when they were playing and loved it so much, and then just kind of stumbled in the world really. He asked me for some assistance. They were keen, for some more hype and some interviews. So yeah, I just got into it like that. And yeah, when I moved to Cape Town, yeah, my good friend Marcel, yeah, she asked me for some help, and yeah, from there, yeah, it just all yeah, it's all went from there really.
Okay, that like I found that so interesting because like I never think to involve my non-musician friends that sort of like a lot of the guys involved in the scene or in these kind of things tend to be like musicians themselves or involved in like photography and those kind of things. I do suppose like having doing blogging, were you doing writing before that?
Not back in the day, no. I've worked in like retail, hospitality, e-commerce. At the time I was working e-commerce, and then yeah, just got into it like that, man. Just from being around these amazing artists. Yeah.
It fascinates me so much though. You said that you're originally from Amanzimtoti.
That's it. Yeah, I was born in Cape Town. I left when I was about 7 years old, I believe. Yeah, my stepdad got a job there. So yeah, we moved from Cape Town, and then yeah, I lived in Toti. Yeah, until just after I left school, and then yeah, I went to the UK for a while, and yeah,
So you've been all over.
for sure. Yeah, no, really blessed, to have traveled. I was a camp counselor when I left school for 4 summers. So I did that a bit, and then stayed in Australia for a while too, and then yeah, came back and been staying in Cape Town for the past, I want to say maybe like 6 or so years now.
I have not had the opportunity to leave the country myself. And so you've been to the UK and Australia that you've lived in. Have you been anywhere else?
No, no, that's
That's
it for
still a
sure.
more impressive repertoire of places than myself, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh, don't worry, man. I'm sure you will go soon, man. Yeah, no, it really changes you, eh?
No, I would love to. I would love to see the different like lifestyles and just the different, I guess you could just say vibes of these places. I mean, how was Australia? I've actually don't really speak to many people who have gone over to the land down under.
Oh man, Australia was incredible. The one bad thing that I went when the world economy crashed, so it was 2008. It feels like I literally arrived with my ex at the time, and yeah, we went there, and it was like the worst time to go, but it was so amazing there. I met some really nice cats there, and the safest place I've been in my whole life, and I couldn't believe it.
I love the like not many people would define Australia as the safest place due to the amount, just the general recurring theme of things that would like to kill you.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, there's like a wild spiders and snakes and stuff. Yeah, I did not see them, which was great.
That's great because your assumption based on like the general like stereotype of Australia is that the moment you land in the country, the first thing that greets you is the spider.
No, no, luckily I didn't see that. But man, that place just runs so well. Like I was on a train and they said sorry that the train was slightly late and I couldn't believe it. So yeah, that should yeah, just tell you how well it's like run there.
Not something if the train is late in South Africa, unfortunately, it's just deal with it, figure it out.
Exactly right.
So you're saying that you only got really involved in like the music community when you came back to South Africa, uh, or was that, did you actually
Exactly right.
experience the music? Did you experience the music scenes art in Australia and the UK at all, or was that something that you weren't particularly a part of at that point?
Exactly right. Yeah, no, I had no connection there with the scene. I mean, I'm trying to remember. I think I might have, yeah, I mean, I might have gone to like a pub or two, saw a singer, but yeah, at the time, no, wasn't really big into it. Yeah,
I feel like you mentioned maneuver to land, and I've been living
that's it.
in Durban now for like the last around about 6 years. I think this year is 6 years, and I'm actually sure I've heard of maneuver to land. Like I'm sure someone has spoken to me about them before, or I know that if I'm not mistaken, they haven't been together for a while.
Yes, yes. Unfortunately, the lead singer, Jason, he moved with his wife to Australia. So yeah, so then they stopped playing live. But yeah, they still have stuff, still to be out, to the world, and recently released some new songs too. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure you might have watched them at Splashy, like back in that day.
Unfortunately, I never have not had the opportunity to go to Splashy because I'm always working when Splashy is
Oh
happening.
man, no, you gotta
So
go, man.
so it's quite depressing to be honest. Like I discovered the music scene like relatively, well, I would say like late. I didn't even know we had a South African music scene until I picked up an instrument myself. I didn't have any like friends who were involved in it or anything, and I find that friends are generally the people who are into it are the ones who bring you into it.
Very, very true.
In terms of like being a booking agent, so what you do for artists is do you look around for them for like places to play and then market them to those places? What is it exactly that you do for the artist?
That's it. I mean, that's exactly it. Just scouting, just finding out, yeah, where are some good places for them to play, reaching out to, to the venues, that is the whole game, like working out who is the correct person to speak to, because people move, or they change roles, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, just scouting it, and yeah, just like trying to find the best possible venue, for them to play, whether it's like a restaurant or a bar or a wine farm or yeah, man.
with sort of COVID and being that bridge between like an artist and venues, like have you struggled to find venues for artists, or is it something that's getting better? What's the like the general state of it? You predominantly deal with Cape Town, I'm assuming. And how has there been like any growth? Has it been recovering in this last while as COVID is starting to ease up?
Oh man, yeah, definitely. I feel like things are getting a lot better. When COVID hit, I mean, I canceled so many gigs. It like broke my heart, for these artists, who just like, sing so well, and perform with such love. But yeah, I feel like things are slowly getting there. I feel like Cape Town, there's a good vibe. KZN, there's a good vibe. I feel like things are picking up everywhere. Seeing more like day festivals as well. And yeah, some full festivals are starting to come up too. I feel like things will, I feel like a lot of venues, especially, are just waiting for, like all the restrictions to be gone, of course, number one. And they're waiting, I think, for the peak, December, Jan. And then from there, I feel like things will be a lot.
Like, what are some of the things that you look out for in a venue when you're booking for an artist? What are some of the things that like are sort of calling cards of this will be ideal for them to play? And from your experience in booking gigs that have gone good or have gone bad, like what sort of things have you learned from that?
Yeah, 1,000%. I think asking firstly the person, what type of vibe are they looking for? First of all, we'll, see which artists they have playing. Some venues don't really tell you. But yeah, just from scouting the venue, ideally watching music there too, that helps out a lot, Some artists they love to play, mostly covers, and some prefer, to play mostly their own music. So yeah, it just all depends.
Okay. And like, do you build up like a list of venues and sort of like case them out and then base your list of artists that you have under you and as to see who would kind of be ideal for that? Or does the artist approach you and say, "Hey, I want to play what's available"?
Oh, for sure. Like sometimes, yes, sometimes an artist will say, "Hey, I'm really keen to play here," and then yeah, I've got to be straight up, with them, whether I think it would work now or not yet. Yeah, and exactly, just like building up all those contacts over time, and just making sure I know like who's in charge of the spot, because yeah, sometimes you have a good relationship, with the venue, and sometimes not.
I can understand that. Like, I'm assuming having a relationship with the venue as well is a big deal because also if you have a newer artist, you already have a foot in the door. They trust your judgment kind of deal.
Oh, exactly right. Some spots, when I come to them with an artist, they are going to be like good. Yeah.
That definitely helps the artist as well to sort of have someone like you and with your contacts and with your reputation, it helps them get a foot in the door, especially if they don't have one to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, I just love it, eh? Quite a few of the artists, like they've got they've got like a full-time job, so like it is tough, so I love it, the whole thrill, of organizing an artist a place to play is still there, yeah, I get really really stoked, maybe a bit too stoked.
Just enthusiastic. I get that. I get that completely. Like whenever I start talking about music or just the South African like scene and community as a whole, I become like a child, like a just an overexcited, energetic child. There's so much love for it and energy. Like it's just
I love that, yeah.
I can completely relate to that. And like so, like from your management perspective in terms of dealing with an artist, what what do you expect from them? What do you when they say that they want to play somewhere and you book a show from them, what are your expectations and how like what are the venues expectations and how do you sort of mediate that and communicate that across to the artists themselves?
I would say, yeah, to be on time. That's like number one, and just to be like a real pro. Be friendly with the crowd. With the staff there, and yeah, just put on an amazing show. Just yeah, be yourself. I think, yeah, with the venues, yeah, man, the same thing. They just want a reliable artist, who is going to get the crowd, amped up.
Because I find that there's a lot of new artists that are surfacing, which is I'm quite excited about. I'm starting to notice a surge of new guys, youngsters getting involved, starting bands or starting solo projects and joining the scene for the first time. What sort of advice would you have for these guys who are just sort of starting out, either trying to do it themselves or approaching people like yourself?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, just to be professional, I think that's the main thing. Don't come in with a big attitude. That really puts off places, man. Yeah, just try, just be, yeah, just come in there, big smile. Just be organized. Be professional. If it's a venue that needs a crowd, try your best. Try your best. To bring a crowd. Market the gig. It just all depends on the place itself. But being professional, yeah, that's the main thing.
No, I can definitely relate to that. In terms of approaching a venue with respect and professionalism, it definitely helps your chances and your reputation. Because unfortunately, like in these circles, if you make is with a limited amount of venues to play, if you sort of damage your name at one of them, it could potentially have a cascade effect on you. And those
Oh,
sort
it's
of
very, very
things,
true.
those things last as well. They they can have a lasting impact on your name or anything like that. And you don't want that. You don't want to have to struggle to change people's first impression of you.
Oh, that's I'm so right. Yeah, and not to take things personal too. Like some venues just won't dig your vibe. Maybe the crowd, just weren't too like into it. That time. So yeah, just being open minded as well.
Who are some of your favorite local artists? And you don't have to be biased for like the guy specifically that you work with, but like who are some of your favorite like up and comers at the moment that people should go listen to?
Oh man, there's so many, man. There's so many. Yeah, I would just encourage, folks, yeah, just to go out and, just find out more about, the local artists. But yeah, I mean, there's so many to mention. But yeah, I would just, encourage, folks out there, just to support, the music. I know it sounds corny, but to come out, and, just see, what's out there,
Yeah, I find like one of my dreams is that people will start going out for just for the sake of listening to some music. Not going out because they want to listen to someone specific or only going out to support their friends, but just going out for the sake of, I'm going to go listen to some music. I'm going to go listen to some artists that I haven't heard before. And, just go and do that. Have fun, get introduced to some new things that you might not have known you enjoyed before.
Oh, 1,000%. And that's like the best feeling too, like when you go out and you're not expecting it, or maybe your friends be like, hey, just come out here, and then they get really into it, and are blown away. That's the best feeling.
One of my favorite things to do is drag people along to venues and guys who have like especially like new people who have picked up instruments and don't know that there's places that host bands or host artists and whatnot, and it's just seeing how happy they get at the potential of them being able to one day be there, and it gives them something to work towards. I quite enjoy that.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, no doubt, just being inspired, by, seeing a band and you're like, wow, yes, that's the kind of sound that I've been thinking of, but I wasn't sure, and now I know.
And how do artists approach you to like get hold of the service that you offer? What is your sort of criteria for an artist who is approaching you?
I mean, right now I have my really, really like packed up, with time, so I'm not actually taking on. artist right now, even though it like breaks my heart. It's a bit different if it's like a tour, so say example, artist is from Durban, and they are quite amped to, play here in Cape Town, then yeah, I'm super, super keen. But I guess, yeah, through word of mouth, really, someone will give someone my number or they'll reach out on Instagram. Yeah.
And what what do you charge artists, if you don't mind me asking, like what do you charge artists for the what like is the sort of expected rate? I know it would vary from person to person or from booking agent. What would like the general baseline be?
I've heard between 10 and 20%. So I'm right in the middle there.
So that would be like what, 10 to 20% of what is made from the venue at that point. So whatever the venue pays the artist, or do
Exactly
they
right. Yeah.
work with like door deals as well, or is it just like a set fee that the artist has?
That's from a set fee. I mean, I personally don't take from a door deal, or if the fee is super low, then I won't, take a fee. Yeah.
So, and then you obviously stand by the whole thing that artists deserve to be paid for a service rendered.
1000%. Yeah. I mean, I think, all artists deserve to get paid and deserve to get paid like a lot more. I do get, understand it from venue side. Maybe the cash flow is not that great right now, but in the next few months, yeah, I mean, it has to be more. Yeah, I mean, the whole play for exposure thing is, yeah, no.
It is just a meme at this point. Like,
Yeah, no, it's shocking.
no, there's definitely like venues that will take advantage of artists where, there is unfortunately a flip side where a venue could afford to pay an artist, but they don't. They take advantage of that.
Exactly right. Some venues do, and they're apps, they're amazing. But yes, there are some sadly that, still, expects the artist, to bring the whole crowd and not to get paid, so yeah, hopefully those days will stop soon.
Out of like the venues that you've dealt with in Cape Town and have frequented, like what is currently your favorite place to be?
Oh, that's a great question, man. Recently I've been going to the House of Ashims. Really enjoying that. It's one of the few, I would say, bars where original music, is, yeah, come play your own songs, rather than be expected to play mostly covers or covers. So yeah, I've just been really enjoying it there. It's like a small intimate venue. So yeah, I've been going there quite a lot now.
That's cool. Like from what I see as someone who's outside the Cape, like the music scene in Cape Town, it seems in terms of venues and then just overall like opportunity seems so much better in Cape Town at the moment. Durban's kind of like a one horse town with it at this point. Like there's not many places to play, especially for the type of music that I personally make. There are places, but I find that Cape Town seems to be like the one that everyone looks at with envious eyes in terms of trying to get their scene or wanting to perform or having opportunities.
Yeah, I mean that's so wild. Like for me, I feel like Durban's got lots of venues and Johannesburg too. But I guess I don't know. I have heard that, and we've still had quite a few venues closed down. Like really like top ones. Aces and Spades and Kerry too. Closing down. And, was really like bad. Uh, all the scene,
I wonder if it's just not like a grass is green on the other side kind of thing, where it's like you'll
perhaps.
always look at like the scene outside of your own. You get so kind of like familiar with it, and you kind of look at everything else with kind of envious eyes. Well, I wish we did things like that. I wish we had these many venues, but you kind of become blind to what you do have. Like you said you used to live down in Durban as well. I don't know if you were familiar with the Winston pub.
Yes, man. Your classic venue. I see it's
Yeah.
just like closed down now, right?
Yeah, it was the last I think it was the last weekend that was the last show, no?
Yeah, man.
Um
Super, super sad that.
I think it's because Matt's immigrating and he had to move on eventually. He's still like relatively young. I don't think he could have been doing that for the rest of his life and he had other opportunities that he wanted to follow. And we don't know who's going to be taking it over. We don't know if it's going to stay the Winston Pub. We don't know if it's going to stay a venue. But it's just one of those things. You kind of take it as it comes.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I'm sure someone will, because that's like an amazing brand, just like a classic venue.
Mm. Like I remember the first time that I went to the Winston. It reminded me. I don't know if you remember the Bow in Joburg, the Bohemian. I don't know if you ever went there. It was very, very similar to that. I got such a bit like the same feeling from that place. I would really love to come play Cape Town at some point. I think the last time I was in Cape Town was a good couple of years ago. And I would love to come through and experience the music scene that side.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I'm sure you'd. Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe what you were saying now. Perhaps. I mean, we've got lots of wine farms and lots of day festivals, and I guess yeah. I mean, there are lots of restaurants here that do have tunes. So maybe that's why it feels like there's like more going down here, and I feel like there's more artists here. So yeah, perhaps yeah, that's why.
I wonder if it's like just because Cape Town is like generally considered like the arty city out of all of them. Like
Yeah, true, man. True. Yeah.
you generally associate Cape Town with the arts and whatnot, and it is one of our like tourist spots as well.
No, it's very true, and there's like so many, of course, amazing artists here and so many different genres, like the jazz scene here is like massive and, yeah.
I didn't know that. That's I was completely unaware of that. There's a jazz scene in
Awesome.
Cape Town.
There's a, yeah, massive jazz scene here
Is this
and, just
like original jazz as well? Like,
I would say more covered jazz, but saying that I actually do need to go out more. There's a newish venue called the Blue Room, yeah, which is recently started up. So yeah, I mean that's something I am personally super keen, to go and see, just yeah, experience all the places.
okay, that leads me to like the question: what is your preferred like genre? Obviously, being involved the way that you are, you have a broad taste. Like, but what is your home base in terms of music? What sort of genre do you find yourself listening to the most?
Well, recently, oh man, that's a great question. Yeah, listen to a whole bunch of music, depending on what song I got to review, and of course, I love to support all the local artists. I mean, I love like folk music, rock music. Yeah, I love like reggae. I was big into like rap back in the day, but yeah, not so much now. Besides the classic songs. But yeah, like so many different yeah, so many.
So, and then like touching on the blog again, like so you mentioned now that when you are reviewing a song, so like so you obviously review music, like EPs, single tracks and whatnot. What's your sort of process with that?
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just love it. To work with uh, such an amazing platform like A&R Factory. Yeah, I mean, so I get a whole bunch of songs, and I never know what genre it's gonna be. Which is incredible. So yeah, mainly singles. Sometimes like a full album, and just to find out more about the artist. And that's a part like I love. Yeah, just finding out more about them, like seeing, yeah, their life and, what the song means and, and then playing it a couple times, nice and loud. And then, yeah, and then just write, and see what happens.
That's cool. Like, do you actually speak to the artists themselves, or do you just kind of go and look into it, do a deep dive yourself and see what information you could find about it?
Exactly right. So most of the time they've got lots of info, sometimes not. So yeah, I will, if I want to ask them something or if I'm not too sure about the song or, just, keen to find out more about it. Yeah, I'll reach out.
That's so cool though. Like, have you discovered any music that you like listen to on a permanent basis, like based on those sort of reviews? Have you found like some gems and artists that you would like highly recommend from those running through those reviews?
Absolute gems, absolute like unknown gems. Like they've got like, barely any like followers or views on their songs. And I'm like, what's going on? You're so good. So yes, I've definitely gotta, yeah, It's just so much fun, just to find these undiscovered artists.
I find that interesting though, now as you mentioned, like we sit there and like, what is happening? Why do you not have like more followers? And like I've discovered that a lot as well recently, like especially with what we do as Sludge, where you'll discover an artist that absolutely blows your mind. It's essentially world class. Like you've heard music that is, by a well-known artist, which is it's on par with. And it's interesting where like you have to sort of take into account, like how much work's gone into social media, how much of it is based on luck, how much is based on money into the system itself.
There we go. I mean, that's it right there. Perhaps they, aren't doing it for that, which is amazing. They just want to make music, for themselves or for their friends or for their family, to inspire them, help them get through something. And yes, that is a sad thing, well, sometimes sad, but um, what I mean is, yeah, I mean, you kind of have to have a plugger now. You have to have a strategy. You've got to put some cash, behind it, to get your song out there. Especially, if you want your song in like a movie or series or something like that. So, it's like a crazy world. And yes, your music can be found as well. So, yeah, I guess it all depends, how much time you have to put into it, or your team.
No, definitely. It's like being a musician is not easy. Working in the music scene, especially in South Africa, is not an easy feat. Like I think a lot of people take for granted how much hard work is behind being an artist and just making music, especially if you want to release music and play to the public. And like there's a surprising amount of legwork that goes into all of that.
Definitely, 1,000%. You first of all, of course, got to spend time to write your music, which I can't even imagine doing, and then performing it live, which still I don't know how they do it. It's in front of a crowd, and yeah, to then record your music, and then yeah, to send it to blogs, and yeah, make sure it's do it online. Yeah, there are so many different ways to do it.
It's just an endless cycle. Just rinse and
Mm.
repeat and keep going. Like, and in terms of, you were saying that there's a lot of like day festivals and stuff that's happening in the Cape at the moment. Have you been to any of them?
Not for a while. They are slowly starting up. Of course, we're in the colder times, but I
Oh,
feel
yes.
like they're starting to. Yeah, I mean, I feel like in the next month or two, we'll have more info, kind of what's going on. But I mean, yeah, I mean, there are so many of them planned still, and yeah, I feel like they're just gonna start up. It's just gonna be wild. I feel hopefully if all the restrictions are gone, I feel like October, November, December, Jan, Feb, March is gonna be crazy.
I always forget how cold the Cape gets in the winter months. Like, because the last time I was there, like like in the middle of August, and it was freezing.
Gets a bit chilly here. Yeah, I mean, I've been wearing like yeah, a jersey, compared to staying in dirt, where I barely wore a jersey or shoes,
I
or
mean, like,
long pants. So
what
yeah,
is what is the let's check it quickly. Um,
it's
like
not too bad today, but it has been freezing. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, like now at the moment it's 21 degrees in Durban, and like the people are roaming around in like jackets and freezing and that kind of shit. Like it's
I
hilarious
love
because I
that.
grew up in Joburg, and like it's Joburg is
Sure.
much like the Cape in that sense, where it can get very cold in certain areas. And you come down here
Definitely.
and you're like, what's up, guys? Like it's 20 degrees. Why are you guys cold? Like
1,000%, man. When I was younger, I played hockey for the first time up there in Johannesburg, and I couldn't believe it. The first time I like smacked a ball, I got like a big shock, on my stick. It was flipping freezing. I couldn't believe it.
and that's the kind of cold where your hands hurt, like where like it's difficult to open a gate kind of deal because your hands are frozen. I can only imagine hockey. That must have just reverberated straight through you.
Yeah, really did.
Like a cartoon character where the whole like the shock just comes up the stick and you just stand there like vibrating trying to deal with it.
Yeah, and there was like snow on the ground. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, no, it gets cold, and then the Cape's no better. And like so just like going straight back into the kind of things that we were talking about. There was something that I wanted to touch about the A&R Factory again. Um, is this like purely like a hip hop thing, or oh no, sorry, not I just read hip hop, so that's why I said it. Is it like a purely an indie music blog, or is it just music across the board?
All over, yeah, like bands, mostly bands that aren't signed or solo artists. But yeah, I mean, from the whole world, yeah, like I'm all genres.
Because I'm looking at it now, like it's so well put together. Like it's such a good looking website as well, and it's like really easy to use. That's always a good thing when websites are. I'd highly
No
like
doubt.
anyone who would be like who's listening, like anyone can submit their music. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly right.
Do you have like a minimum criteria for the music that has to be submitted, or is it just a case of it gets submitted and in whatever state it's in is reviewed and you know we'll listen to and reviewed?
That's it, man. Yeah, exactly right.
I find that interesting. Like, have you ever had a track submitted that you've had to reach out to an artist and be like, listen, I don't know if this is a good idea.
I haven't, no, no. I'd just go for it. Hey, like, yeah, just try and like find out, just try and yeah, I write about like how the song makes me feel, man. But there have been some songs that have been a bit sketchy about, but I mean, 99.9999% of the songs, yeah, are just like, yeah,
That
really,
that
really
uh,
amazing songs.
that's a huge relief because I'm sitting here like, damn, I can only imagine like what that would feel like as an artist to have the people reach out to you and be like, listen, this might not be the best plan. Please work on this some more.
Yeah, no shame. No, I wouldn't. Yeah, I couldn't.
As sort of as Sludge Underground, I remember there was a point where we would be being requested to review songs, and I was very uncertain about it in terms of like because of like the nature of what we believe like Sludge Underground is a platform for artists to speak about their music, to have a voice and whatnot. I wasn't sure whether being a platform to review music as well, especially in the case of if that review would happen to be negative or something like that would affect that sort of that goal, that inclusivity, and just trying to give artists a platform.
Yeah, I got you, man, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm just as honest as I can be, but I'm not gonna, completely slate an artist, because I can't sing myself, so I admire them, for trying, their best, and I feel like because of COVID, there's been so many artists, who just tried it out, which is just like amazing, there's just so many more artists now.
I mean, isn't that the story of Ashkin basically, where just when COVID hit, she lost everything essentially, and she was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do this now.
There we go, and she's an amazing girl, one of the most, she's just so passionate, she, believes in herself and, yeah, exactly right. She just said, this is it, I'm doing it. And, and now, yeah, I mean, she's flying.
And you could hear it. Like I remember when having my chat with her, you could just hear like she's just such a generally enthusiastic and just like it's just she sounds like an overall sweetheart. Like I thoroughly enjoyed
She
that.
really is. Yeah,
I
man.
also learned from her that marching bagpipe bands are a thing in South Africa, which was a completely new experience for me. It derailed my train of thought in that episode entirely because it's just like, excuse me, I'm just going to backtrack here a little bit, and we're going to talk about this for about 20 minutes. So
That's like, dude, like I couldn't believe it. Yeah, when I heard you two talking, like I had to take like a double take. I'm like, I'm sorry, there's what? And then to like, yeah, like just go back. I mean, that's an amazing story.
that's what I love about this is I've learned so many things about like the scene or the people in it that I would never have known otherwise.
1,000%. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much, and like right now, like I'm doing a few tours, with Kat and amazing girl too, and just learning so much, about like all these venues, just connecting, with like the like parts of the scene, that I didn't know exist, and yeah, I mean that's the fun part.
Like when you're arranging a tour, like how sort of, do you like just, look online in terms of venues? Is it kind of like a word of mouth thing, speaking to the artists, like, especially like in different provinces and those sort of things? Like, what is the process for that? Like, is this sort of things that you've just built up over time, or how do you find those venues in these other places?
And tours are it's basically I look at it like a big map, like a big treasure map, and just go from there. And yes, asking around, from my friends and the contacts who I know in that part of the town. Yeah, and there's just so much to it. You can have a big list, but some venues have closed down, or you're not speaking to the correct person. So yeah, it's about scouting to, seeing where artists are playing, yeah, and just like scouting, making lots of calls, lots of mails, and yeah, it's really time consuming, but super, super fun, And once the tour is started, it's like, yeah, it's like an amazing feeling.
I can only imagine. Like, I've played a couple of like out of town shows in terms of living down in Durban with the band that I'm down here, but I have not had the opportunity to go on like a full blown tour, and I would love that experience.
Oh, it must be the best. I mean, just recently completed one in Johannesburg and Pretoria with Lost Youth, working with Dana Joy, and she's amazing. She'll she's so invested. She'll be calling around too. And she's so sharp. Finding venues too. So I think for like a big tour, yeah, you need that like backing. It's so tough. To do it all by yourself. Because there's so many things to think about. Where you're staying. What if a venue cancels? What if a car breaks down? Yeah, just trying to work out the expenses, and then you got to hype up the shows. There's just so much to do, but yeah, really, really fun though experience.
Back to the whole thing of being a musician or being involved in the music scene is just hard work in general.
Definitely, man. And trying to, I guess, combine those gigs where you need to bring a crowd with ones where you don't, say you like haven't played there, or you don't know anybody there. So I think having that mix and having that support from the venues too, helps out a lot.
What has been your like favorite live experience as a non-musician? Like, what has been one of the best sort of performances or like moments in a live show that has stuck out for you or stuck with you?
Oh, that's a great question, man. Aces and Spades. I watched Julia Robert play. That was an amazing gig with yeah, Man Motels. They were really, really good. Enjoyed them. I guess watching Incubus though, when they played here in Cape Town at the Cape Town Ethics track. I mean, that to me, when you ask that question, that's what I thought of. That was my favorite band. So yeah, or still is.
The one that's the first thing that jumps out, that's usually the one where it's like, yeah, that's that's the one that's going to stick with me.
Yeah, that was amazing. And was there with some good mates. Yeah, that was a great night.
No, that's so sick. I'm so like bummed that I've missed Incubus when they came through, because I was still like, I when did they come through again? What year was that?
Oh my goodness, that's a great question. I'm not actually sure. Huh? I want to say 2019, 18. I actually can't remember. It was a
Nice.
while ago though.
Let's see. This was 2018.
Yeah, she's like 4 years ago now. Can't
Mhm.
believe that.
That would have been, I would have loved to watch that. Unfortunately, at that time, I was just stuck.
I think they just came to Cape Town and Joburg. They didn't come that side, eh?
No, no, it was Cape Town and Pretoria. Durban is just, it's not
Pretoria,
a
yes.
location for big artists anymore. Like, nothing big happens the side. Even since before I moved here, like they were not having any of the big shows. And there was a guy down
That's
here,
it.
Byron. He hit me with a line that stuck with me. Durban is the biggest small town. Like it's a hub for so many things, but at the same time, in terms of its music scene, it may as well be a small town because there are no big events that happen this side. Like when international artists come through, it is not on that roster of places to be played.
That's so sad. I mean, that really like bums me out, because I remember going to Live the
Oh
venue in
yeah, like
town,
yeah,
and
yeah.
love going there. Yeah, I saw some awesome artists there, like only Quay and like a whole bunch. So yeah, it feels like if Durban has perhaps the right spot for it, then and they know it's going to be like sold out, then it could work out. Because surely because I really think if there are some good bands and solo artists, who are going to be playing, yeah, I mean the crowd will come. Surely, they might pay like on the day, but they are going to be there.
No, definitely. I do feel like Durban has a lot of potential in terms of its music scene. It's just I'm not sure like what it is. Like one of the things, I mean, Live was closed just before I moved down to Durban. That was when
Okay.
Live closed down, and it's like there were a lot of guys who were sort of power players in the scene in the community, guys who ran the venues, and when they moved on, there was no one to fill their place, and that just created this complete like vacuum in the Durban music scene. So like a lot of the guys who were influential or had the pull, there was just no one to take their place or carry on doing what they were doing. And it just kind of evaporated from there. And slowly but surely, like there's new like venues surfacing, there's new places to play surfacing, and it's getting a lot better than it was like just before it was already problematic when COVID hit, and COVID
For
just
sure.
pushed it over the edge completely.
I got you, man. Well, yeah, I'm sure it'll happen soon, surely, man. Yeah, I know it's time.
No, definitely. Uh, But I've thoroughly enjoyed having a chat with you and getting your views and your thoughts on the music scene in general, and finding out a bit more about what it is you do and how you assist the artists in actually getting around and taking the weight of booking shows off their shoulders. And where can people sort of reach out to you or sort of find the artists that you work with? What sort of platforms can people reach out on?
Awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, they can just find me online. Yeah, find me on IG or Facebook. Yeah, Llewelyn Screen, Llewelyn, and then Screen, Screen.
And then they can also, I assume, check out A&R Factory for any blogs, anything
Definitely.
music related as well there.
Yeah, man. A&R factory.com.
Dwayne, thank you so much for taking the time to have a chat with me. I greatly appreciate it.
Oh, shot, man. Thank you for having me, man.